I was texting her back.
Like, sure, go ahead, roll clip. Hi, guys. Welcome to Open Mic with Allie and Michelle. We're so glad that you joined us on this wonderful Thursday. One more day. Tomorrow's Friday. And you know what today is, Allie? What happens here locally on Thursdays?
You tell me. School board meetings?
Oh, my gosh. That's a different type of fun. No, we have Honky Tonk Thursday.
Honky Tonk and line dancing days. Hey.
How are you doing over there, Allie?
I'm doing all right. How's everybody else doing? I hope everybody watching, joining us on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, all the places, really. I think we're
still on YouTube. Hey, that's a good thing. We're also on Facebook, monitoring Rumble. Allie, I think you're also helping monitor X, right?
Yes.
That's like
absolutely.
So make sure you comment. I've been asking people, where are you watching from?
Yeah.
I'm curious because I was shocked to kind of hear Montana and California.
Wow.
Which I told you I have family in California, so I'm half tempted to be like, what's your name?
I got some friends out there too. I don't know.
Better be watching, but think of how early that is, right?
It is really early for 10 a.m. I mean, not really
They'd
early.
Have to be early risers. Allie, we have a lot to talk about today, including that tool that you called him a tool.
I did.
Who are you talking about?
He's being, he is a tool for the Democrat Party. That's really what it is.
Jerome Powell.
Mr. Too Late. We're not even gonna grace his name, Mr. Too Late. President Trump has donned the name Mr. Too Late from James Fishbach, and we thank you so much, sir.
We thank you, James, from Turning Point. We're so happy to be able to interview you. Plus, we're going to go all into the Russia hoax. Every day there's more news breaking. And we'll also talk about a couple of things that are literally breaking news. Plus, what has got the liberals all up in a tivy and they're crying big.
Can I say their panties in a bunch? Do they wear panties?
Say that. I think Trump pretty much said that. He said something along those lines, but yes. And it's all about denim and jeans. So we'll cover all of that. Guys, make sure you keep it locked here. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's go ahead and open that mic.
To where we started, we're wearing our red hat tonight. It takes more than just a feeling. Oh, better be believing, and America's gonna be home.
What do you do? They try to cancel you. MAGA Nation, we cancel proof. My red hat stays on. My red hat stays on. You know I love God, but in Trump I trust. November 5th, you gon' ride with us. Our red hat stays on. Our red hat stays on. It's the mayor MAGA, the RNC King. 2024 freedom gon' ring. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. I'm still fighting for each one of you. And keep your red hat on.
What do you do when they come for you? Freedom's what you gotta lose. Red hat stays on. Red hat stays on.
Allie, every time I see that last clip there, I think about the hurricane that we shot that in. Or tropical storm. I don't know what it was.
It was definitely like right before I think we were hit with Hurricane Helene. Or it was like right after.
Like, we can work. We're fine.
Oh my gosh. And then we saw like the swamp puppy. She came up. And then she was
have to tell everybody who the swamp puppy is, because we have a lot of viewers that aren't in Florida. So what is a swamp puppy?
A swamp puppy is an alligator.
And have we named the alligator yet?
I've been waiting for people to chime in. What should we name our swamp puppy?
Swamp puppy. We have another friend though out there in that property. What do you call that one?
What, our nope rope?
No, that. Oh, yes. Tell people what a nope rope is.
The nope rope is a snake. The nope rope is a snake because you don't touch those.
And the trash panda.
The trash panda. We have a baby trash panda who like doesn't bother anybody. But he'll come up to you if you have food or water. It's like the cutest little thing. It's weird.
Raccoons aren't.
I think he's domesticated. They're kind of like cats.
Okay.
But I've known.
Have you seen the cat at my house? Okay. You think that's domesticated?
Feral. That cat is feral. She's mixed with like cougar or something. I don't know.
She's talking about the cat at home. Allie, ouch, my word. Lord, Allie, we do have some breaking news that I want to make sure we discuss. Apparently a Delta Airlines flight that was headed from, let me just open the story here. headed from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam in the wee hours of the night, had to make an emergency landing in Minneapolis. There's 25 people on board that are currently in the hospital. They did successfully land, but they dropped. There was such turbulence, Allie, and this is mid-flight. So, all of the flight attendants are up serving beverages. Eyewitnesses are saying it was very scary, obviously, because everybody was thrown about the cabin. It did land safely, but our thoughts and prayers are going out to all those passengers and the flight attendants that are now recovering from injuries. Everybody will be okay. But Allie, I don't really like flying. So
well, I mean, from the helicopter crash in DC, right? The helicopter
we
plane
were there,
crash, right? We literally,
we were like, look.
We're like,
I'm sorry, that's not funny, but you know what I mean?
We have to go home. Oh my goodness.
Why we drive everywhere.
I know. That was insane. But yeah, there's been a lot of aviation mishaps this last couple of years. I'm not really quite sure if we've gotten down to what the reasoning is. A lot of people were saying it was because there was some evidence that was showing that it was because of DEI practices. They weren't hiring people with exponential qualifications that would, actually cause them to sit in the seat properly and do their job effectively. They were hiring people based off of race and skin tone and sexual orientation instead of actual meritocracy. So we're thinking that might be something to do with it, or just over who knows, a lack of maintenance.
I know in our conversations with Erica Donalds, the wife of Representative Byron Donalds, who we think is going to be the next governor of Florida, she was talking about the big, beautiful bill that passed. And I didn't realize, Allie, in the big, beautiful bill, there is increased spending for air traffic controllers, because that was also another thing. One of the things besides the military that the Biden administration completely depleted, they also did that with our air traffic controllers. That's one place as an American, I'm okay with you using my tax dollars for.
Right. No,
maybe not cutting off body parts of healthy, young people, but air traffic controllers, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
And not giving it to, PBS and the other shows that networks that just push propaganda, especially on our youth. And giving our tax dollars to woke colleges that are allowing, anti-Semitism to run rampant and, indoctrinating the youth in our nation that are going into the workforce. So yeah,
another thing we're very passionate about here, Allie, you've been passionate about it for a while, but a lot of us woke up during COVID on this, and this is our healthcare, adding care back into healthcare, but predominantly the MAHA movement, right? Make America Healthy Again. There was a commission report that, listen, you can wait a long time for the government to develop a cause and reaction to something that took place, whether they're investigating themselves or whatever that may be. But the commission report, it took them exactly 98 days. So they cut down the time in half of what it typically takes. This is people that are on a mission to try to figure out, why are our kids unhealthy? Why do we have obesity and autism and all that off the charts that we did not really even see 30, 40 years ago? MAHA Commission delivered their report. I want you to take a quick listen, Allie, and then I want your response.
Sure.
More than 40% of American children now have at least one chronic health condition. Since the 1970s, rates of childhood cancer have soared in many cases by nearly 50%, 50%. Well, in the 1960s, less than 5% of the children were obese. Now over 20% are obese. A few decades ago, think of this one. This is, to me, the one that gets me every time, and it seems to be getting worse. Just a few decades ago, 1 in 10,000 children had autism. Today, it's 1 in 31. Last time I heard the number is 1 in 34, right? Now it's 1 in 31. There's something wrong, and we will not stop until we defeat the chronic disease epidemic in America. We're going to get it done.
Gotta get it done.
Well, what's interesting is that there's been a report from CNN that says that President Trump is signing an executive order today to bring presidential fitness tests back to public school. He will be joined by Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker, former New York Giants linebacker Lawrence Taylor, golfer Bryson DeChambeau. Yeah, DeChambeau. Okay, there you go, and others per CNN. I can't read today.
It's only
this is great. And I'm not into golf. I don't do that. So Yeah,
Lord.
so I think this is a great thing, especially with obesity plaguing our youth. I think this is amazing. To
Allie, do
bring
you
back
remember
physical
that?
fitness. I
Do you
do.
remember those tests in PE class? Like literally you're climbing a rope. You're like 25 feet in the air. There's no safety net below you. You've got a 6-inch mat. Like, and they're like, come on, get up there. And then like if you're slow to do it, like everybody like I don't know how else to explain that. It was like everybody learned to do it. And if you
But
couldn't do it, you worked till you could do it. I mean, but it was
right.
something that everybody did.
So it's not just about physical fitness and physical health. It's about
Yeah.
discipline. It's about conquering your fears. It's about doing something that you've never done before. It's about learning how to do hard things, teaching yourself that you can do hard things. It's amazing that the mental acuity and clarity that comes from working out and being
Oh
physically
yeah.
fit. So I think it's not just good physically, but it's great for mental health. Watch them implement this, and then watch ADHD come down like incrementally,
Yeah.
significantly, because
Wow.
we're gonna have boys that are gonna be able to compete with each other, and boys are supposed to compete with each other like this. They are supposed to want to compete. I mean, I was a girl. I was a competitive girl. I'm still kind of a
Absolutely. Me too.
competitive girl, right?
Maybe that's why we're good friends. I don't know. Because we're
Absolutely.
constantly competing.
Yes, but not like with each. I mean,
Not
it's
bad.
playful.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
playful with us, but I mean,
like
I think this is great. I really do. I think it's amazing.
well, and Allie, a part of this too, I think, we're moving maybe away from the participation trophy generation, which
Ugh,
my generation was not the participation trophy generation. I mean, I played foot. I threw a tighter spiral than any boy in our class in football. I loved it. But then when I had kids, it was like, what do you mean? Everybody gets it. Let my kid learn that they maybe should work harder before next week. I don't
right.
know. It was difficult to do.
I know it's hard, but I'm glad it's coming back, and hopefully it gets better.
Hopefully it gets better. Listen, going on to the Make America Healthy Again Commission report, there was also a follow up on some of the identifiers of maybe why we are seeing this trend of America becoming less healthy over the past few decades. Take a listen.
For the first time ever, this report examines some of the root causes that many believe are making our children sicker and our population sicker, I guess. It just doesn't stop with the children, it's our population also, such as the ultra processed foods, over medicalization and over prescription and widespread exposure to potentially toxic chemicals. Unlike other administrations, we will not be silenced or intimidated by the corporate lobbyists or special interests. And I want this group to do what they have to do. We have to spell it out. In some cases, it won't be nice or it won't be pretty, but we have to do it. When you hear 10,000, it was 1 in 10,000, and now it's 1 in 31 for autism. I think that's just a terrible thing. It has to be something on the outside, has to be artificially induced, has to be.
And
He is, yeah.
oh,
Sorry,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Allie. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say he is 1,000% correct. Stuff like that does not increase with genetics. That is an environmental cause that is increasing autism, and autism is almost. It seems like it's a symptom of poisoning. It's not a symptom of like bad or faulty genetics. It is definitely something that is caused environmentally, and I know for a fact that Bobby Kennedy Jr. is going to get to the bottom of it.
I love this. I love that they met across the lines. You have obviously Trump running as a Republican. Bobby was running originally as a Democrat. This is something we can all agree on. So they are
Yeah.
setting the best example for this country. But Allie, this is where not only science but healthcare has failed us. Where have been all the bright minds and all the pharmaceutical companies in trying to draw a conclusion to this and trying to help? This is why, because they're linking this to ultra processed food, right? So
Yeah.
all those dyes that are now coming out of our food,
Yep.
environmental toxins. You look at a lot of the things that we have, even okay, let's talk about the chemtrails because we now know they're a real thing. Chronic stress due to lack of activity. You just talked about the tests that are coming back to your local PE class, and also the over medicalization of children. This
Yep.
is why pharma and those that get paychecks from them aren't interested in finding a real solution. I'm so glad these two men of character
Well,
are going to do this.
they're also exempt from liability. They're exempt from liability, so there's no incentive for them to, one, figure out what the cause is, and two, for them to figure out how to make their product safer and not cause all of these issues. Why? Because it is an ever revolving cycle of death and money. We keep them hooked, we keep them sick, they have to keep coming back for more and more and more and more. And then they lobby Congress, they lobby their state legislation for
Wow.
special protections, and then they put the money into the pockets of the legislators, of the lawmakers of the country, states, local municipalities, all the way up to Congress. That is why this is here, and it is very frustrating that it's happening to our children. I mean, it's not just the air, the water, the soil, it's our food, it's our medications, it's all of it.
It's all of it, Allie. And I'll give you a little
Also,
tip.
hang on one second, I
ma'am.
forgot
Yeah.
about this. The Academy of Pediatrics just came out and said that they are trying to actively remove not psychological, philosophical, and religious exemptions from vaccines. Only 3%, 3%, 3% of the nation's children have an exemption. 3%. So tell me why, American Association of Pediatrics, are you trying to get rid of the only exemptions that are really effective? Because the medical exemptions are extremely difficult to get. Because
Well,
none of
and
you want to acknowledge the fact that your products cause these things.
absolutely, Allie. And this is the problem too, is that it's right along the tails of education when they start to override you, the parent, being able to dictate what's right and what's wrong for your child. Do we have to have now a medical moms group that's I mean, we went through this with education. We did, we knocked their teeth in, but we just don't want to have to do it again. But we
We've been
will.
at this since the 80s.
And I'll
I've
tell
been
you,
at
guys,
this since 2015. So
absolutely. And listen, with 2026 around the corner and a lot of people contemplating possibly running in the primaries in 2026 or running for election, I want to encourage everybody on your state level, whatever state you're watching us from, uh, please look into your state legislators, whether it be House or Senate. They have to disclose where they get their money from, and even their PACs and their 501c3s and C4s that they file, they have to disclose where they get that money from. You are going to be shocked to see who's funding both Democrat and Republicans on both sides of the aisle. A lot of it is your big pharma, and that's why you sometimes see them slow to move on the things that we call common sense. Allie, speaking of states moving, they are now trying to work in the food programs within each state, approving almost a waiver where your state can say, you know what, we're not going to cover that junk food. But only 3 states have acted right now. Florida's not one of them. Take a listen.
We're so proud to announce that on Monday, I was in Nebraska with Governor Pillen, where we signed the first one. An hour ago, I signed the second one for Governor Braun in Indiana. He may not even know that. I've got it right here, sir. I also signed the third one, Governor Kim Reynolds of Iowa, about an hour ago. With a half a dozen more coming down the line. And sir, that has never happened before. Under Republican or Democrat administrations, we have never made that happen before. So I am so proud and so grateful for your leadership.
Morrissey here, who was the first one to apply from West Virginia.
Oh, Governor Morrissey. We will.
Oh, I
There you
hope
go.
Florida is one of the half a dozen still sitting on her desk, because Florida touts that they like to lead the way. So, excuse me, let's get on that, please. Thank you.
We might know a few people that we can call for that. Let's hope that Florida jumps in that bandwagon. But this is exciting. You know, as single, we both we talk about this a lot. Single parents, it's you know, you can use all the tools that are available to you to try to get back on your feet again. Not just single mothers, single dads.
Yeah.
You've got many people that are on fixed incomes, especially here in the state of Florida. Do you think this hinders families if we're going to tie the SNAP programs, for example, to healthier eating, or do you think this actually makes it easier, Allie?
I think it is beneficial for everybody. Everybody deserves to eat food that is healthy for you, that is good for you, that is made with the intention to feed your body, feed your soul. Eating like the chips and the dyes, the processed foods, it does nothing for your mental health. It
Keep
does
your
nothing
hands
for
off
your
my ruffles. Is all
look.
I'm saying.
No,
Now.
and I'm not saying don't, right? I'm not saying don't eat those things. But when that's all that you can afford because that's all that's there. I remember, so a lot of the times, a lot of these medical issues with these children and with ourselves, especially if you have an autoimmune disorder, the food that you eat affects you because your first brain is literally your gut.
Yeah.
So, and when you have bad gut health, eating these processed foods just exacerbates those problems. And it's terrible for your blood pressure. It's terrible for your sodium. It's terrible for your mental clarity. It's terrible for your mental health. It's terrible for your entire body as a whole. So if you're feeding yourself better foods, that actually minimizes those symptoms. Inflammation minimizes, and
Yes.
inflammation is like the leading cause of disease. And that all starts in your gut. So
It
I
does.
think this is a good thing.
Allie, I agree with you. Can we pivot just for a moment to we alluded to this in our warm up this morning. We just think that Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, is in fact a tool and not a useful tool. But Donald Trump has been on location there at the Federal Reserve to oversee or look at some of the expansion that's been happening on your tax dollars to the Federal Reserve building, upwards of $3.1 billion in renovations. And this is exceeding even his own budget. So I'm not really happy that somebody who oversees our dollar can't stay on budget. That's kind of alarming. But somebody that we interviewed.
Are you surprised though? It's government.
Put a mom in charge of that stuff.
We James
interviewed
Fishbach in charge.
Put James. We had the lovely pleasure of sitting down with him at Turning Point USA. He alluded to the fact that something was coming that he was going to do to kind of force the hand of Jerome Powell and shed some light and transparency to what's going on really at the Federal Reserve. This was him in an interview on Fox. Take a listen.
Don't you ever feel sorry for Jay Powell at all?
No, I don't feel sorry for Jerome Powell. He's worth over $200 million. Who I feel sorry for is the Americans who can't get a mortgage because interest rates are at 20-year highs. I feel sorry for the fact that they can't start a family, they can't grow a family, they can't buy a home. I feel sad for the single mom in East Baltimore or in East Cincinnati who can't get a credit card because Jerome Powell is trying to undermine the president of the United States. I'm sorry, Stuart. I don't feel sorry for a man who is using his political position to undermine the duly elected president of the United States. Jerome Powell, one, needs to lower rates, and two, needs to open his meetings up. Our founding father, Stuart, would be appalled to learn that a secret group of bankers is meeting behind closed doors, and we have no idea what they're actually doing in their deliberations.
I knew you had pom-poms there in your house.
James Fishbach gets the pom-poms.
He does. He does. Listen, Allie, when he was on our show, he was the first time it broke really was saying, listen, guys, those school board meetings that you all go to, where you get like an agenda of what's going to be on so that you can show up, and then it's live and everybody can watch it, and then it's public record, and then the next day they publish the minutes from the meeting so that everybody knows what happened. Not so with the Federal Reserve. They literally meet behind closed doors to determine how they're going to make the sausage. And Allie, that is not in the best interest. It's also not an entity of the federal government. It's like a privatized thing. This is crazy.
Which is crazy, and it shouldn't be privatized. It's our money that they're housing and utilizing. This is insane. I don't understand the mental gymnastics. I like how you put it, the political pretzel they put themselves in, because this is insane. It doesn't make sense. And guys, I need you to go back and listen to the Tucker Carlson interview that just dropped. I think it was a day ago or 2 days ago, or maybe it was, I don't know. There's a clip out there today where he's talking about there were two brothers that during the World War II, I believe, was when we were against World War I, we were against Germany. And both brothers, a brother that was a part of the Federal Reserve, the banking here, the U.S. Federal Bank here in America, his brother was also a part of the banking system in Germany, and they were at war with each other. Like while everybody was at war, they both were like funding the whole thing. Insane. Bankers have been in control for quite a long time, and quite enough. That's enough.
They have. And anybody who goes back to read anything written and published by Alexander Hamilton, of course, one of our wonderful founding fathers, but also the Federalist Papers, he alludes to his original intent with the financial status of this newborn country that we had created. And this is basically the raping and pillage of his plan. This is disgusting. This is some good news I want to end on before we go to our commercial break. Senator Bernie Moreno, he's a Republican, not a Democrat, of course not, Republican from Ohio. He introduced a resolution, Allie, demanding the Federal Reserve slash interest rates now. Listen, the only reason they're not doing this is because we are now currently under Trump's economy. And when you have people that have infiltrated all these different levels of administrative seats, they're not appointed, they're not elected. These are people that got their job, not by you and I telling what we want to do, that they've just kind of graduated into these roles. It's time for them to do the will of the people and to not use their political broken heart to stick it to the American people. So I hope people go on the record and vote on this.
I agree. I think Jerome Powell is definitely grandstanding. And he does not like President Trump, does not like Republican policies, does not like, the fact that America is winning and wants to, force the hand, I guess, in his own way, wielding some kind of power that he thinks he has, not realizing that he's only been given the power because he's been appointed. But you can be fired because of, political grandstanding in this
Well,
position.
you can be
And I
fired
hope
for
that,
lack of doing your job, right? Yeah.
well, yeah, but I mean, they have to prove it. And it seems to me that that is well underway, being that, our economy is booming at the moment. So,
And Allie, we've known Trump and his administration and those involved to almost set the stage to let you publicly trip over yourself instead of jumping in and changing things themselves right away. And maybe this is exactly that, watching Jerome Powell fumble this greatly. Guys, we're going to be back with more Open Mic with Allie and Michelle. In the meantime, make sure you're following us at Real Allie Leger, at Michelle Posey, and of course, at Open Mic Ladies. We're going to be right back after this short break.
Gold IRA companies are a dime a dozen, especially in conservative media. We vetted out 34 companies and chose Augusta Precious Metals.
With the lowest across-the-board spreads in the gold IRA industry, Augusta saves Americans thousands of dollars.
They are the only major gold IRA company that has zero complaints from their customers. Zero. None. Augusta Precious Metals does not have commissioned sales reps, which means their goals are aligned with yours.
They were the only gold IRA company that demonstrated integrity and transparency without using gimmicks.
The informative one-on-one web conferences by Augusta Precious Metals answer all their customers' questions before they make a move.
If you're ready to learn about protecting your wealth and retirement with gold and silver, request your free gold guide from Augusta Precious Metals today.
Visit patriot.tv/gold. That's patriot.tv/gold today.
I don't know if we can change our theme song at this point. My girls, every time they hear it, it's like they sing it and they're dancing in the living room. It's like really adorable. I'm like,
It was so funny. I was in the other office where where we used to record, and I'm going down the hallway, and somebody's singing it, and I was like, "What?" It's catchy. It's very, very catchy. Thank you, Hadass Levy.
It kind of fits. Like everybody's trying to call like Republicans now and MAGA Nazis just because they have blonde hair and blue eyes and wear blue jeans. So,
What is that
but
about?
I mean, I've been called. I honestly, somebody commented on my post because I posted about my jeans, and they're like, "Oh, this is definitely white supremacy," and I was like, "Absolutely, I've been called. I've literally been called that. So by people that look like me, by the way. So yeah, your local
we might
white
have a little trick up our sleeve, right, Allie?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, not even a trick. We have something amazing that's going to be coming out either hopefully later on today. We did a cute little photo shoot. I'm just so excited. I can't wait. They came out so good. So
Just trying to show that conservatism and America First and MAGA, we are
Absolutely.
all different shades. We are all different colors. And darn it, we do like our denim jeans. So
I
leave us
know.
alone.
Well, David Merrill commented and said he's watching from Alaska. Thanks.
Alaska. Hopefully
Thanks for
we keep you a
joining.
little warmer.
Poor guy.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you. It's good to meet you guys. Listen, Allie, remember back before X was X and it was Twitter and it was
Yeah.
under the control and dominance of Jack Dorsey and people like you and I mean, along with Zuckerberg on Facebook, were completely kicked off and censored on platforms. That's why we're so grateful for Patriot TV and all that they allow. Well, this was something that was actually retweeted by Donald Trump back when it was Twitter. So that's why I can say retweeted. Jack Dorsey had it removed right away. But think about this and use this as the lens that you're going to see our next segment now under. Take a quick look at this.
Trump will not be president.
Highly critical, biased text messages between senior FBI officials Peter Strzok and Lisa Page.
There will be no question about the outcome of this election.
And she got ahead of herself. This utterly stunned this campaign.
Head home. You should get some sleep. We'll have more to say tomorrow.
Our constitutional democracy enshrines the peaceful transfer of power.
The peaceful transition of power is one of the hallmarks of our democracy. We want to do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you succeed, then the country succeeds.
These declassified documents that were just released, officials in the Obama administration were asking for the identities to be unmasked of Americans.
Unmasking of aides and staffers of the incoming president.
The basic charge, political spying.
To disrupt the peaceful transfer of power.
Unmasking of American citizens. It could be a real problem.
Why is it that the unmasking of Flynn somehow ended up in the pages of the Washington Post?
I know nothing about those moves to investigate Michael Flynn.
The vice president said that yesterday, and then the last name on this list is Joe Biden.
The Obama administration was bitter. They wanted to do everything they could to undermine the incoming Trump administration.
Really designed to sabotage and really upend the new administration.
An outgoing president and a vice president and a Washington Post columnist and the FBI setting up an incoming administration. Wow, that's a real conspiracy, and nobody wants to talk about it.
Well, we're gonna talk about it. We've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks. We've been talking about it for the last few years. We're thankful to know personally General Michael Flynn, and he was the number one person that they unmasked. Of course, just a little bit of history here for those of you who haven't maybe been tuning in. You know, Flynn was appointed by the Obama administration. One of the things that Obama wanted to look into was the intelligence community. And, you know, were there any wasted resources? I don't think he really trusted that he was going to do his job. Of course, General Michael Flynn did his job and then some, because he's former military and that's what they do. So he fired them. And then Trump comes in and says, I want to tap General Michael Flynn to come in. I know he was a Democrat, but it doesn't really matter. We need to get the job done. And what is the one thing that then President Barack Obama said to incoming President Donald Trump, who wasn't yet sworn in? If I could give you 2 words of advice, one of them was about foreign policy, and the other one was, do not work with General Michael Flynn. We now find out, Allie, that they ran a campaign, a smear campaign, and also a seditious conspiracy to make sure that they could try to pinpoint General Michael Flynn in some kind of lie against Trump in order to get Trump. Allie, this is a bestseller if it wasn't so real, right?
Right. It is crazy. I mean, this is something that you would see on like some movie or TV series on like Showtime or Cinemax with less nudity, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. It's very hard to believe, but you know, the truth is stranger than fiction most times. And so I really think that it's difficult for a lot of Americans to kind of grasp that,
yes,
you know, your own country tried to overthrow and they manufactured evidence in order for them to create a coup.
Right.
It's hard for people to kind of grasp, right? But it's the truth. We've all been right, and General Flynn has been vindicated. So I'm excited for that.
And if you're not familiar with the Flynn story, listen, guys, you have to go to flynnmovie.com. Flynn, FLYNN movie.com. You can stream it there. You can also order a DVD if you like to watch it the old-fashioned way. You've got to get ahead of this story so that you're well prepared. He's also got a book out now. But one of the guests that we've had on this show before, Colonel Mills, he was asked to do something during this Obamagate Russia hoax. And so we've had him on the show. He was recently interviewed. I want to get just a small clip of this and then we can discuss it.
So you were actually one of the people that assessed this intelligence community assessment from the side of DOD, as I understand it, that recently we've been hearing about, that Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, publicized recently.
Yeah, I think it's page 74, 75 of my first book, The Nation Will Follow. 2 days after the election in 2016, I was called up on the NSA phone. The person said I had to be on the intelligence community assessment that was assembling to finalize the Russia narrative, because we were going to prove that Trump was a Russian asset and we were going to delay or block the inauguration of Donald J. Trump for the first term. I just couldn't believe it.
This is what you were told?
This is what I was told on the phone. So this was a deep state coup from the beginning, that it actually started in early 2016.
That is insane. Insane. We do have somebody joining from DFW Airport, Lou Frall 47 at Lou Frall 47. joining us on X. Thank you so much for joining us. Chime in, you guys. Comment below. Can you believe that this is actually going on? I mean, we've had Colonel Mills on our show before. We're so thrilled that he's been able to speak with us about so many things. This is just insane. I mean, the confirmations over confirmations over confirmations. It proves we were all right.
In 2016, when Obama could say so assertively, and Hillary could say so assertively, he will not be president. This wasn't like the Bush senior saying no new taxes. This was literally them saying we've devised a plan. There is a plan in place. We will not allow this. This is literally the definition of a coup, right? Where people are working to overthrow the government. And I hate that it was somebody like Flynn at the center of it, but I love the fact that this strong Irish Catholic man and his strong family were able to stand and not take any kind of bribery or any kind of backdoor handshake to say, listen, just make something up against Trump. But they went after his son because he wouldn't do this. There has now been more documents. God love and bless Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence. She is putting out these documents that were filed as classified, but they are not classified. She's letting you, the people, see, and you, the people, decide. But part of what's coming out is that this intelligence that they had allegedly of Russia meddling in the election, many people said within the intelligence community that this was not something worth going down the trail. It was not good evidence. What do they do for a living? They investigate, and they understand when something is not true. True documents. They were fabricated. We now know they were bought and paid for by the Clinton campaign. Take a listen to this, Allie, and I want to get your response.
Apparently, the FBI has now found thumb drives related to the Hillary Clinton email scandal, and the information on those thumb drives have not been reviewed. That too will soon be declassified and handed over to Grassley's investigative committee. This is what Chuck Grassley tweeted, the senator from Iowa. Quote, thumb drives containing unreviewed info on Clinton email scandal and mishandling of highly classified info have been sitting at an FBI offshoot office since 2018. Now, again, the deep state is very...
Wow. Wow.
Make this
tell
stuff
me,
up.
oh my God, tell me that you are not complicit in hiding evidence without telling me you're complicit about hiding evidence. Like, this is why we needed Kash Patel in the FBI. This is why they were giving him such a hard time during his confirmation. Do you remember the things that they were saying about him?
We were in DC at the time. Yes,
right.
I
The
do.
interviews, like the questions, the audacity of these Democrats to ask him these questions. And then this is what he finds? Wow.
I mean,
no wonder
Allie,
why.
I was joking yesterday, kind of half-heartedly on social media about, when you do some spring cleaning or, you're kind of reorganizing your house and you separate and you put some boxes aside and you're like, okay, this is going, to family members. This is going to get donated. This is trash. And then you kind of just like leave it. Maybe you don't actually get to it. This is literally what the Democrats, some of them at the top, did. This is what they actually did with documents. Her thumb drives, you're hearing this. This is the first that we heard of this. But yesterday there was apparently another empty room within the Bureau, the FBI, that had burn bags, literally bags labeled, please torch this because it's incriminating. And then obviously because, transparency is something that's real and that the American people really want to see. Thank God, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, they go in and they're like, what is this? And we heard this, Allie. We heard from Dan Bongino the other day. He said, I have seen things that I will never be the same now that I know what I know.
And Tulsi Gabbard on Glenn Beck reiterated the same things. Literally, she said she has seen firsthand that that people are putting their power and their ambition above their oath of office and above their oath to protect the Constitution and this country. And she goes, it's a heavy weight, a heavy burden that we bear, but we're willing to do it because we respect our constitutional republic. And I love that about Tulsi.
And that's what happens when you get people like Tulsi working within an administration. Yes, a conservative America First administration, but she was a Democrat before that. The Democrat Party turned so far left, it's like they couldn't find their way back to the direction that we should all be heading on. Take a look at this post. Of course, this was Nick Sorter. We love Nick. Kash Patel found thousands of sensitive Trump-Russia probe documents inside burn bags in a secret room at the FBI. So What do some of these documents hold? Well, we're told we're going to get another release of documents. We were told possibly yesterday, but more than likely today, that are going to not only tie, obviously we know Barack Obama and Joe Biden sat in on all of these briefings where they went along with the failed intelligence and they pushed it as truth, but we're going to find out and implicate Hillary Clinton as well. This just keeps getting better and better. I think our people watching should pop popcorn or something. I don't know.
I'm serious. And then so with this next clip that we're gonna play, is it a clip or is it a photo?
Yes, it's a clip, and I think you're talking about pleading the fifth.
Yeah, well, that I mean, everybody's asking, right? Like, what is going to happen with Barack Obama? Because we saw that President Trump put up on his truth that it's time to indict, President Obama for treason, and everybody's losing their minds over it because they're like, oh my gosh, can this even happen? And so, yes, it can, according to this.
Roll the clip. Go ahead. Yeah.
I know President Trump has every right to be frustrated with him. I think President Trump's analysis last week was right. I think my immunity rule might protect him on the original charges. That's what most legal experts tell me, that ruling is so sweeping it will protect Obama for what he did in office. However, Barack Obama can now be summoned before a grand jury. He cannot take the Fifth Amendment because he has immunity from prosecution. He'll have to tell the truth. If he lies as a private citizen about what he did as president, he'll no longer have that immunity. And that is a trap that Obama is sitting potentially facing. And I want to say the irony to that, because on January 5th, 2017, he presided over a meeting in the White House where the FBI had just cleared Mike Flynn of any wrongdoing. And they schemed in that meeting how they might be able to jam up Mike Flynn. And they came up with the idea, we'll lure him into an interview, catch him into a lie, and then prosecute him that way. Barack Obama now is about to face a potential similar situation as the one he created unfairly for Mike Flynn.
Wow. Talk about set trap.
I think we're going to have an office party.
Woo-wee. That needs to be aired everywhere. And then I'm watching these memes of like President Trump and Vice President Vance in like the cop cars with like Barack Obama in the Simpson car.
Have you seen the one with like Dukes of Hazzard? And
yes.
I love that.
What a time to be alive with millennials and Gen X and Gen Z that are making memes. I freaking love it. I love it. It's hilarious.
And this is, guys, you have to understand it. And I know a lot of
these things.
Well, we have to at this point. And I was just talking to somebody yesterday about scheduling, potentially scheduling General Flynn for this show. And of course, he is a big part of Patriot TV, whether y'all know that or not. But it was like, he might be just a little bit like busy.
A little bit.
Like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. I guess I didn't really think about that. I just think, just pick up the phone. Let's do an interview. But this is exciting because he has spent the better part, him and his family, his beautiful wife, Lori, and their son, Mike Jr. They have spent the better part of the last 4 or 5 years. Well, actually, if you go back to 2016, 8, 9, 10 years, really fighting for their lives and their livelihood. I'm talking about banks not wanting to work with them. I'm talking about, a decorated military career, them trying to strip that from him, taking his name and dragging it through the mud. This feels like somebody in your family that's been wronged for a long time, finally being vindicated. And of course, it's not the celebration of the fact that all this was happening behind the scenes. It's the celebration of the fact that it's finally coming out.
Absolutely. And it's interesting too, because just because we're associated with General Flynn, we've been kind of pushed out by certain GOP leaders here in Florida.
The Republican Party.
Right. And they like to be like, oh no, we're MAGA for sure. We're like, yeah, well, why do you keep picking us out for like simply showing up with things? I don't understand. We didn't really do anything. We're just calling everybody out literally on both sides for the corruption that y'all are allowing. Anyway, we have a comment on Rubble on our live feed. One mom on a mission says, good morning, baby. How you doing?
Good morning, baby. Oh, we love our mamas. We love our mamas. Allie, fun story, if we could just share real quick, because okay.
We need like 2 hours, I swear.
When I ran for office in 2024, we were getting ready to go to all the polling sites for the day of election. I got to drive the Flynn. I didn't wait. Let me rephrase it. I didn't drive. They would never give me the keys to the Flynn bus. But Danny, our good friend, drove, and we took the Flynn bus to every single location. And so you had like our tents over here, and then you had the Republican Party over here. And it was very funny to watch, because here is somebody that was the head of national security for then incoming Trump, that Trump has said over and over was wrongly accused of things. they claim to be MAGA, the Republican Party, and I'm speaking predominantly here in Florida, and then it's like they don't like you because of your involvement or because of your, you know, your friendship.
Could that be
Professionalism.
because there are ties to Sarasota GOP and the corruption that we've seen on the national scale? Maybe that's why. Maybe you should go watch the Flynn movie.
We're going to leave that right there, and this is why they don't like Allie and I.
This is
but we
why they don't like us. Okay, but we also have a couple
invited.
more. We have a couple more chats. So Janny 1211 says it doesn't help that our air traffic control systems are outdated, just like some of our other departments that are still operating with floppy disks. Wow, this is why they're putting more money into the air traffic controllers. This is amazing. Thank you so much. We appreciate your comment, Janie. Thank you for watching. And we have Scamps1. I don't know what scamps mean, but okay. I like it. It's funny. But
like
she
it.
said they said they're checking in from Alberta and said The Walking Dead. Haha.
Alberta, The Walking Dead.
Love it.
Listen,
love it.
I'm going to skip past this Tulsi Gabbard video because just for the sake of time, we obviously know that more documents are coming today. That's kind of what she's saying.
We
if
need
we
2
could in
hours,
the
baby.
control room, I know we do need 2 hours. Women, we talk, whatever. We're going to fast forward to the next asset here about Flynn. This is, if we take a look at this here, put this up, General Michael Flynn tweeted, re-X, whatever. He's calling out here Susan Rice from the Obama administration. She said, here's a part of my life that Susan was directly involved in trying to destroy. You may be telling her where she can go. But this is basically saying, look, Obama and Comey are talking, right? And he asks Comey about Flynn's involvement. And Comey says he added that he has no indication thus far that Flynn has passed classified information to the then Russian, the person they were claiming was a Russian asset. These are documents that show that it was all based on failed intelligence. They knew it was failed intelligence. They didn't care. They assumed you and I would be so busy trying to put food on the table that we wouldn't actually look into it. But we're so grateful for a second administration, Allie.
This is why Kash Patel said he wanted to turn it into a freaking museum. How do you push forward fake intelligence? How as the intelligence community, how can you ever from now on, without complete reconstruction, consider yourselves accurate about anything?
Absolutely.
How's anyone supposed to trust you after this?
Well,
you literally allowed fabricated evidence to be put forward.
Absolutely. And that's why we developed a healthy distrust, I guess you could call it. Maybe it doesn't work in relationships, but it should
It does
when
work
it
in
comes to the
relationships. I'm sorry. You fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Third time, that's a choice, baby. That's your character. We good.
about new relationships.
I'm
not
good.
old
Nope.
ones.
No,
I
we
love
need
you.
to stop forgiving people for showing them who they are.
Ooh, Allie,
Believe
new.
people for who they are when they
Government,
show you
yes.
who they are.
Government,
all
you
of
show me who you
everybody.
are.
Everybody. No excuses.
This is
period.
Allie on a Saturday night, her and I over a glass of wine. This is exactly the conversations we have. It's why we're sisters at heart. Can we?
That's
We're gonna
probably why
skip-
we're single.
And I was just going to skip the commercial break. And now, okay, so we're going to keep the pedal to the metal here. Let's talk about insider trading, talking about trust and lack of it and being skeptical. Insider trading, we love Anna Paulina Luna. We might want to include her in our prayers because this is a very difficult thing to do, to come out and say, listen, I'm going to present a bill that's going to say us in Congress, if we're supposed to vote on something, we can't be trading that same stock. Right. It's a conflict of interest. Take a look at this.
Is it the speaker?
I can tell you that I got a lot of pushback from leadership, and not just leadership in itself, but I actually received calls from other members of Congress saying that, what we were doing was going to hurt people. I was also told that I was putting the Republic in jeopardy because I was going to cost us the midterms if I brought this to the floor. And what I will tell you is what I'm trying to do is actually save the Republic. And so if you think that that's the biggest problem that we have in this country, maybe you shouldn't be in a leadership position.
All right. Well, I hope it's not the speaker because I like him and he doesn't seem like the guy that would suffocate.
We hope it's not Speaker Johnson.
Hold up, wait.
I think that was just some direction. Yes.
I got 30 seconds I want y'all to listen to. This is from, guess who? Rick Scott.
Right? So this idea that we're going to attack people because they make money is wrong. Is absolutely wrong. We should cherish all of our different backgrounds. Every one of us has a different background. I've got a business background. But what I was just accused of is making money, and somehow I can't be fair and do things the right way. So I think it's disgusting what is going on here.
something that is a little divisive is these episodes.
What?
So what he's referring to is obviously at one time Governor Rick Scott here in Florida, and now Senator Rick Scott has had a huge successful career in healthcare. He has been he has done some wrong things, which he has paid a penalty for. But then we've elected him to sit in the Senate. So I think what he's saying is, no, obviously in America, in a free capitalistic society, we're not saying you can't make money. We're saying that if you go into office, which is supposed to be a servitude, mind and heart, making $200,000 a year, I don't expect you to come out $9 million richer, because I think that we should be able to look at that.
That part. Well, he's saying, like, do you want anyone to be poor? I don't want to be poor. No, we're not saying that we want you to be poor. We also make almost 3 times the amount of average American. This is why there are certain representatives in office that are saying that these representatives should their salary should be the median of those in the districts in which they represent.
Ooh.
We actually have there's only one congressman that donates his salary. Just one.
And who is that?
Representative Ramos.
From the state of Florida.
From the state of Florida.
So listen, and Allie, somebody like in Rick Scott's case, who was a multimillionaire before he even went into office, of course. But what I'm saying is, why, you know what, Rick Scott, and I know the GOP is going to love me for this one. If you've got nothing to hide and you were a millionaire before and a millionaire after, then let's see it.
Right.
Let's see it. It's okay. But you should not be able to trade on stocks that you're also creating policy that helps frame. Martha Stewart went to prison for this very thing. I don't understand. She was plugged in. She was plugged in, but it's called insider trading for a reason, because you have inside information. Will this potentially change who runs for office? Maybe for the better.
Yeah.
Maybe when you sit in an office, Chuck Grassley, who I do kind of like for a lot of reasons, but when you sit in an office for 40 plus years, that's not the intent of public servitude. Nope. You're supposed to go in 4, 6, 8 years, do your job, and trust that there's somebody behind you that you can pass it off to. Go back into the private sector, make jobs, build your own wealth. You don't do it off the backs of the American people.
Amen. I mean, yes, I agree. Yep. Okay. There are several representatives that have gone into Congress that are millionaires, and don't come back out as millionaires. I mean, they're millionaires still. It's
Donald
not.
Trump.
It's just right. Exactly. He doesn't even take a salary. He's doing it for free. Holy crap!
It's costing him. It's costing him. Okay.
It is. I mean, it almost cost him his life at one point. Did we forget? Did we forget that?
Listen, quickly, I want to make sure we touch on this. Senator Ron Johnson, Republican, voted against the ban of congressional stock trading today. Where is he from?
Of course he did. Unattractive for people to run for office. Well, if making money is attractive and that's what's making you run for office, perhaps you should maybe, I don't know, build a business and invest in the stock market that way, instead of you doing it while you're supposed to be working.
Like you expect Americans to do. Allie, I want to pivot over to this fun. We have to leave you guys with something fun, because I feel like we're just like heavy.
We need 2 hours. I'm going to throw a girl fit right now. Like, I can't. We've missed so much. There's so much information.
On the phone from Pedro. Be like, sir, Allie and I would really like to expand to an hour and a half.
Comment below and let us know, or send us an email at contact@openmicladies and let us know if you want Open Mic Ladies to go for 2 hours instead of 1.
We'll do it. We can talk indefinitely. Listen, the people in our lives will probably be happier.
Y'all.
All right, listen, guys, we talked about how American Eagle came out with a really cute ad. They had Sydney Sweeney on it. Obviously, just a beautiful model. The fact that she's blonde hair, blue eyed should not have mattered at all. The left came out and said this is a Nazi propaganda video. So a lot of people within conservative movements, especially MAGA, America First, have taken to their own ideas of what makes us, beautiful, and talking about, it's not our hair color, eye color, and certainly don't judge what we wear. But Dunkin' Donuts picked up on it, and they've come out with their own ad. Let's take a look at it.
I didn't ask to be the king of summer. It just kind of happened. This tan, genetics. I just got my color analysis back. Guess what? Golden summer, literally. I can't help it. Every time I drink a Dunkin' Golden Hour refresher, it's like the sun just finds me. So sipping these refreshers makes me the king of summer. Guilty as charged.
Oh my God.
The Golden Hour refresher. Only a Dunkin'.
We're not sponsored by Dunkin'.
We're not sponsored by Dunkin'.
But that is
However, if
amazing.
Duncan would like to reach out to us at contact,
Only if they were MAHA. I'm sorry. Only if they were MAHA. They got to
they're
get rid
not
of
yet,
their
and neither
dyes.
is Starbucks. I know.
Yeah, they got to get rid of their dyes. And maybe not.
What is
not
controversial about this,
fun-flavored.
Allie? What is the issue? I don't understand.
Because he's tan or white adjacent. We don't know what his genetics are. So the left is like already being racist, and they're like, "It's another white man." They're like, you don't even know. He could be Greek. He could be Italian. I mean, is that white? I don't know.
Let's face it. At this point in our nation, thank you. At this point in our nation, we could all be so mixed that, I mean, do you want me to go down the litany list of everything that's in my blood?
I'm saying.
I don't think you want
Heinz
that.
57 here. Thank you. But there's something else that was really funny. Krista, do you have it? Let's pop that up because we have our own. There you go. The King of Summer. The true King of Summer right there. President Daddy's home. President Daddy Trump. That's who it is.
Daddy Trump. What do you think took that picture? Would that have been Melania?
Somebody superimposed Melania's face on Sydney Sweeney, and where she's leading with the jean jacket. I was like, okay, because Melania was a model.
Absolutely,
and she's gorgeous. She can still model.
She's gorgeous.
Yes. Can we please have Melania model with jeans and like a white tee?
Let's go, Melania. Lead that conservative America first movement. Lead with good genetics. I love this. Well, so the funniness with Trump doesn't stop there because, of course, we used to say during his first administration, somebody take his phone away because he's just like tweet. But now I'm like, just let him do it. Just let him do it. Yeah. This is what he posted. He says many Democrats and Democrat supporters have been criticizing the American Eagle Company, which we just talked about, for their campaign with the beautiful and talented Sydney Sweeney. The online crybabies are calling for the company and Sydney. They're calling the company and Sydney fascist. Totally ridiculous. They're just selling blue jeans. He says, if we're being totally honest, maybe I don't even think I can say these. I think
maybe these fat, ugly losers spent more time working on themselves.
They wouldn't
be so angry about everything.
About everything, MAGA.
Maybe if these fat, ugly losers.
Wow, we're going to get a strongly worded letter about that, I'm sure.
They're losers. They're like the worst losers.
You guys didn't know that Allie does a great Trump impersonation. You should see her out. Okay, maybe we need to go live one night while we're out and about, and you can really see Allie's impersonations. Keeps me freaking laughing. Guys, that's it for us today on this Thursday edition of Open Mic, ladies. We're grateful that y'all chimed in on social media. Make sure you follow us at Real Allie the J, at Michelle Posey, at Open Mic Ladies. Allie, I missed that you're not in the studio, but you're going to be here tomorrow.
I'll be there tomorrow. And thank you guys so much for commenting. We love to engage with you guys and let you all know how much we really do care about your viewership and your support. Thank you all so much.
Number one show on Patriot TV, and it's because of you. Thank you, guys.
We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Is high, inflation's up in the sky. Red hat stays on, red hat stays on. And I don't care how they look at me in the deepest heart of a blue city. Red hat stays on, red hat stays on. And I know when you smile, you like what you see. If you love America, you'll agree. Red hat stays on, red hat stays on.
Did you ever wonder what happened to the Drudge Report? During the 2016 presidential election, Matt Drudge was one of President Trump's most vehement, adamant supporters. He was promoting Donald Trump really since the escalator. Okay, and he remained steadfast. His fight remained steadfast throughout the primaries. They ripping on Ted Cruz, ripping on John Kasich, ripping on everybody, and focusing on getting President Trump the nomination. Of course, after he got the nomination and then won the general election, Matt Drudge and the Drudge Report remained fairly true to President Trump, but things started changing pretty quickly. And all of a sudden, we started seeing a rapid shift from being pro-Trump to being very vehemently anti-Trump. Now, prior to this, there was a lot of speculation because there seemed to be a lot of Bernie love, oddly enough, didn't seem to fit for a pro-Trump site. Now, there have been a lot of theories, and I'm going to share mine with you. Let's go through some of the ones that are most popular. Some say that Matt sold the site, that he's no longer involved. with the Drudge Report. Others say that he's involved, but that the site was owned or is now owned by the Chinese Communist Party or some members of the globalist elite cabal or the deep state or the Democrats or whoever. I've heard those rumors as well. My theory, and there are others, to be fair, my theory, which is based upon nothing but speculation, is that from the very beginning, Matt Drudge has always been a progressive. He's always been a leftist. And you could see this even before the 2016 election. I think you could see hints of this throughout. And what happened was he had found his niche decades ago. He found a very high quality money making niche within conservative media, and he stuck with it, and it built him power, it built him a whole lot of money. And he thought, I'm going to play conservative. He hired some great conservatives like Andrew Breitbart and the like. But I think that after the 2016 election, after President Trump won, and after he started getting blamed, quote unquote, blamed by legacy media, the Washington Post was talking about it. A lot of people were saying how really the Drudge Report was one of the biggest reasons that President Trump won. I think that Drudge had been living a lie the entire time and decided, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I made enough money. Let's go ahead and shift over and show my true colors as a Bernie bro. And I think that's what happened. I could be wrong. But either way, it doesn't matter. The reason I bring it up is because Patriot.tv is more than just a place for shows. We are turning it into essentially a Drudge alternative, a place where you can see content from multiple sources available right there for you to browse and get a true conservative perspective. So check it out. Go to Patriot.tv. That's Patriot.tv and see what we're doing today.